Hello there, Abraham.
Yeah.
Would like to talk about artificial intelligence. Just a
Good stuff.
teeny bit of background.
Say
Really want to hear your perspective on a couple of things. I've been working in technology for about 35 years, and I know...
We've been at it long, too.
I'm not...
No, our technology is different than yours, but it has the same basis. Everything on your earth is the same vibrational basis as everything that we are about. It's all electronics and vibrations and all that stuff.
I love it.
Yeah.
And that you started the discussion this morning kind of alluding to the science.
That's because you're here.
And so I'm also interested in art. I'm a playwright and have been aware, because I've been following Abraham for quite a while now, really aware of how I feel when I'm creating something.
Yeah.
And
that open loop is intoxicating, isn't it?
Sure is.
It's
sure
intoxicating.
Is.
When the juices are flowing.
And what's cool in my life, more and more so as time goes by, is that I'm really sensitive to what I'm feeling as I'm creating.
Good.
And to me, this is...
You've got loud chemistry in your body.
Yeah. I think this is what life is.
We think so too.
So in the world that we live in now, what I hear, and I'm just so interested in it as a technologist, but also somebody who's interested in like metaphysics, but also art, is that there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of consciousness of like the threat.
It's just
of
chemicals.
AI.
It's just chemicals. It's just people focusing in opposition with their desire and their body giving them evidence of that. It's not based upon anything real. It's just based upon which way they're focused.
When the separation happens. Okay, so for me, understanding a little bit about the technology, when artificial intelligence works, it's basically taking a whole bunch of kind of correlated information, weaving it together, and then finding patterns.
Awkwardly in comparison with the law of attraction. We've been saying for a long time, don't lose your place, that search engines, which is what that is. That's what artificial intelligence is. It's just a really good search engine. Search engines are the closest thing to mimicking the law of attraction of anything that you can witness. Doesn't come close.
So then, thank you so much, because that's exactly where I was going, at least in part. But I really do kind of want to hear the perspective on all of it. So
let us just give you a basis, and then you can specify your questions more quickly here, because this is what artificial intelligence is, and this is what it isn't. It is a search engine based upon data that has been collected and compared rather brilliantly, we will say. What it isn't is consciousness. What it doesn't have is a point of attraction. What it doesn't have is a soul. What it doesn't have is connection to source energy. What it doesn't have is the big plan.
Okay, that is where I wanted to go. So I'm on this thing.
It doesn't have a point of attraction. Now, all of those people that you're talking about that are worried about it can be focused in ways that their worry has them pinched off from their own well-being. And they could blame something like artificial intelligence or anything for the reason for their physical demise or their mental demise or their point of attraction discomfort. But artificial intelligence does not have a point of attraction of its own, because artificial intelligence does not have an inner being. Artificial intelligence does not have an emotional guidance system.
So I use this system called ChatGPT.
Yeah.
ChatGPT is like a message system that you get on, you type a question, and it answers the question. And I've just been amazed at how it's able to sustain a conversation. So I can ask it to start a project that we will work on together that has many steps. It's multifaceted. It's able to remember the whole thing. I can zero back in on one specific thing. It's just so astounding. And at any point I can ask a question, and it gives me in-depth information. I have to be mindful, because sometimes the information it comes back with is wrong. So I'm always wanting to check it. But I guess what I want to know is...
Let's just break this down a little bit. Let's say that you've been at this for all these years and you're really good at, and you've got a great big old database, and everything that's been considered or written or painted or noticed is in your database. And your search engine is such that you can pull it up. But
GPT
is not aware of what we're going to say today. Now, someone could put it on the internet, it could include it in, and if it's heard enough that it could be part of the common dialogue. But is there a way that we can say to you that you can really hear it? Nothing, no one. Nothing, no one, nothing, no one. No one. No one. And artificial intelligence isn't anyone. No one and nothing. Artificial intelligence is something, but it's not anyone. No one and nothing can be your point of attraction.
Well, so when I ask it a question, and the questions can be not just complicated and very specific to me, but they can also have a context based on a conversation that had been going on for days. How is law of attraction getting in the middle of the response that I get? That's, I guess, what I'm kind of going for, is when I ask a question, how does law of attraction get involved?
Let's not make artificial intelligence our friend or our enemy for this conversation. Let's just make it something. It's just what it is. It's like a library used to be only as efficient as its Dewey Decimal System. Esther's closet is only as efficient as her putting things back where they belong. Esther can be lost in her own same space as she moves from one place to another and opens a drawer looking for something that's in another city. And so people rely on memory, and you think of memory as being something that's pretty important. And in the example that we just gave, we can see why you'd think that, but we think inspiration is way more important. We think being in the right place at the right time is way more important. And we think at its very best that this artificial intelligence is always looking back. It's always looking back at what's been gathered, what's been collected, and then it's taking all this stuff that is back there and it's putting it together in order to create what's new. But it's not creating what's new, it's just creating bigger blobs of what's back there. But it is not attracting in the way that the human race intended to do as you came into your physical body. That's why we are really appreciative of the word artificial. We'll add some other words. Not as good as. Not as good as human experience. Can artificial intelligence be psychic? Can it read energy? It can be predictive because it can make logical assumptions. But this is what we're wanting to guide you all about. We don't want you to be making logical assumptions. We want you to make informed assumptions based upon the broader part of you and what the broader part of you knows. Don't you want to be inspired? Don't you want to be called to what's new? We know you do, you see. And that's the real discomfort that we think that those of you that are becoming more and more familiar with the artificial. It's been around for a very, very long time. Somebody just decided to give it a name in order to scare the rest of you. The first moment that the first search engine came into place, the first moment that those kids began collecting data, Esther has a friend who was the very first one to start doing the photography that unfolds and unfolds and unfolds. And most of his work is what the Getty Images is all about. And he remembers when it was all in his camera. Everything expands when people turn their attention to it. But it's people turning their attention to it that is causing the expansion of the universe. Otherwise, it's just the collection of data of what the universe has expanded to be. And you are not about the collection of data of what the universe has expanded to be. You might think you are. Do you really think you are? What rings your bells? Is what is ringing your bells collecting stuff, or is what's ringing your bells standing and feeling and knowing and observing and participating and becoming? What's ringing your bells? For the most part, most people that gather with us care more about the car in the garage and the lover in the bed and the money in the bank than they do the expansion of their reason for being here. But your emotions say differently, because you can gather up all kinds of things that are on your yes, I want it list. And the more of those things you gather, the more of those loops you close, the more you're opening other loops for other things. And then people that don't understand this at all are saying to you, Things like, can't you ever get enough, you greedy bugger? How many cars do you need? Well, not a lot, just the newest one. Just the one that rings my bells, the one that gave me a lift when I saw it, the one that closed the loop a little bit because it satisfied so many intentions that I had. And you are born loop closers. You are deliberate creators. You're born to collect data and to flow energy and to connect the dots. You are creators. A creator must create. You're not collectors. You're creators. You're not rememberers. You're transmitters and receivers of vibration. You are masters of creation. You're not historians and monument builders and gatherers of stuff. Don't you learn it from your kids when you try to guide them to what's best for them? And they look at you, and what they really want to say, unless they're afraid of you, what they really want to say is, please let me find my way. Please give me a chance to let my bells ring. Please let my bells ring. Because I only feel good when my bells are ringing. I don't mind ringing your bell, Mom. I don't mind doing what you want me to do, and I don't mind doing what you expect me to do. There's a certain satisfaction for me when I do that, but please let my bells ring. Let me do what I was born to do. Let me observe, let me gather, let me become vibrationally. Let me put a vibrational legacy out there in my vibrational reality, and let it call me, uniquely me, because when I get to go to what I said I wanted, oh, it feels so good, it feels so good. When I do what you want me to want, I'm willing. I'm just not on fire about it.
Yeah, I'm super optimistic about it. I love what you say because it reframes it as just this really sophisticated tool that if I'm not afraid of it, it can help me.
It could guide traffic better. It could fill the grocery stores better. It could figure out what people want around the world better. It could improve medicine. It could put the medical supplies where they need to be. It could predict weather patterns based upon last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. It can be so valuable, but it cannot replace your thinking. It will not replace your point of attraction. It is not intelligence. It does not have a soul. It will not ruin your life. It can enhance your life.
That's the part I've been focusing on. My theory is that in so much of the work that I do and everybody I've observed, there's a mundaneness to the job that AI can come in and fill and take that away. Like in my writing, I get writer's block. But I've been using this thing to help get over writer's block.
All right, so you tell us. It can only take away the really boring parts. Mm-hmm. It can't take away the desire that's born within you. It can't take away the aha moments. It can't take away your connection to your inner being. It can't promote or discourage the love that you have between you and source energy and whoever you're focused upon. Let it do the mundane stuff while you do the stuff you were born to do.